Get access to exclusive videos and more, and support the channel on patreon.com/manlightfoot.
When I get big, I'm gonna be just like Jet Fillmore.
You're not just gonna play Rollerball.
Respectfully, but
Did you ever think Space Jam could be done good? Well, go prove that just about anything's possible.
Man, that's not true.
A film that definitely had some different type of hype to it. We've all seen a good basketball flick. High School Musical changed a whole generation's brain chemistry. This movie basically takes the best part of basketball movies and combines them. And I think it pulls it off with flying colors. After watching this, I honestly had to ask, why aren't there more animated sports movies? Especially ones that can give some red meat to the furries. Is that offensive to say for furries? Anyway, it's not your typical basketball affair with the characters being animals and the game itself not being one-to-one basketball. This basketball movie has some tweaks to the game with environment hazards like vines on the court or stalagmites falling on the players. Definitely an exciting upgrade to a classic, even if one game can potentially put you in the morgue.
So they finally jazzed it up.
Now, if you're a basketball purist, maybe you might get annoyed with the extra pizzazz, but I find myself just enthralled whenever the characters were playing a game. It really gets you into this world's version of basketball, which is definitely one of the big selling points of this movie. Aside from the fact that it's got sweaty, muscular, anthropomorphic animals, which seriously, there needs to be a talk about all these furry movies happening so close to each other and giving so much red meat to the fans. Future furry artists are going to rule the world at this point, and I'm just fine with that.
Yes, nigga, yes!
So what's the story? A goat named Will wants to be a star roar player, this world's equivalent to basketball but with environmental hazards. He dreams of joining his hometown's roar team, the Thorns, and playing alongside his former hometown hero, Jet Fillmore. Yes, this furry movie with all these animal characters gave everyone a normal ass name. I'm just as disappointed as you are, but lack of animal pun names aside, Will makes it on the team but finds things aren't all too great with the team being on a losing streak for years, especially with him butting heads with his childhood hero, Jet. Now they must figure out a way to come together to win their hometown a championship.
I know what you're thinking.
This sounds like your typical underdog sports film with the stuck-up former star athlete having to share the spotlight with the scrappy newbie. Or it's like Mike if you're not bougie. You'd be right in that assessment, but what if I told you that's what makes this movie work?
You better settle down over there. I'm gonna come talk to you. You know what?
It's a familiar story with a few familiar characters, but it's a case of it tells it so well in its own way. The big staying force for this film is the characters. Will is this scrappy guy just trying to make his dreams happen. Sadly, being shorter than all other roar players doesn't strike confidence in anyone. They don't want him on his team. He struggles to pay rent as well and works deliveries to help get by. It's not hard to relate to him, but it also makes you not think of him as just some entitled guy just wanting fame and fortune. It's the fact that he clearly just loves the game and is trying his best to get into it. There's a deep drive for him that's personal rather than just wanting to have a big following. He focuses more on getting better, which gets you into his art because you see him putting the work in. You can easily root for him, especially in this world when he's considered too small to play, but he puts his skills to the test and earns the respect. His teammates can be a different story. Jet is that stuck-up old star that wants to get back to the people cheering her name instead of jeering it. She almost feels like she'd sell you out in a heartbeat. In fact, she even suggested selling the team in her first scene. You can feel for her with everything she has to deal with. She gets harangued by jackasses on social media or just bad faith journalists getting into unnecessary personal questions about her or saying she needs to quit when she's not ready to. Stephen Smith. It makes sense why she's pretty pissed, but she's not too much of a stick in the mud that she can have personalities. She can be harsh and mean, but she can also be pretty goofy and just as well pretty sincere. Her and Will have a good back and forth with each other that's very endearing, with him looking up to her and her having to conflict with wanting to be the best but having to share the spotlight with the rookie that idolized her. Also, even she doesn't take herself too seriously since she's a different type of goofy. I really enjoyed a small moment Will and Jet had in this one diner scene. It was the type of story beat that hits you just right. When that part happened, that's when I fell in love with the movie. The rest of the team are your scrappy oddballs who just needed some inspiration to get back the will to try. You got Archie, a rhino with two very amped up daughters. My guy is running ragged with those two girls, but he's a dad trying to do his best for his kids. There's Olivia, who has a tendency to worry too much about what others think of her, so she buries her head in the sand when things get too real. She just needs people to help her have confidence in herself. Lenny is just a cool guy with a lack of hope for the team. He's been through it by being passed from team to team, so he just needed someone to give him some hope. Then there's Moto. The less said about him, the better, also technically because of spoilers. But this dude is a living question mark who's also goated. That is all I'll say. The Thorns as a team having growing pains with everyone's differences, which yes, we've heard that story before. But the characters definitely feel natural and genuine here. With this being produced by Steph Curry, I get the feeling the writers and animators definitely had some good research into how basketball players interact. It's still a cartoon, so it's over exaggerated, but the Thorns feel like a genuine team you want to root for. They're some of the most unlikely characters to get along with, but they find a way. This is a really cool animal world. It uses urban and nature aesthetics to create a fun fusion for the cities. You will want to take a stroll through Will's hometown Vineland just because it's oozing with so much character. I wish there was a video game that would let you explore this movie's cities. Roar is a simple game of just basketball, but with the possibility of getting killed in the fourth quarter. Think NBA Street, but the players might die. This game starts with hazards around the court for players to dodge around, and things get more dangerous in the fourth quarter with the court fully changing its environment, becoming even more dangerous. Players use their animal traits to help them dodge or break through the hazards. It adds a fun layer of the anthropomorphic animal characters having to use their animal side to accomplish a goal. Often in these furry movies, they only use the animal traits just for a joke, or just basically make them humans but more hairy. And yes, it does fictionalize basketball, but it doesn't change it so much that you can't recognize and get into it. I genuinely had my eyes glued to the screen like I was watching an actual basketball game that I cared about. And I don't even watch sports. And that's also helped by the fact that they maneuver the camera through the players as they're playing the game, so you're really getting sucked into it more than what you would a normal basketball game. This should definitely be said now. This world is oozing in black culture. It's definitely ball is life aesthetic, but black culture is on full display. From the way the cities are built to the community basketball court, even down to the way the characters talk and all the slang they use. Think the bacon, egg, and cheese scene from TMNT Mutant Mayhem, but as a movie. It's all done in a way that feels more genuine to that culture versus trying to just imitate the culture and sell it back to people, even though it very much is selling back the culture to people. The cast itself has some good black talent, with Caleb McLaughlin as Will and Gabrielle Union as Jet. There's also Steph Curry as Lenny, who actually does a pretty good job here. Aaron Pierre kills it as main attraction.
Just don't care, I'm the main attraction though. I'm the godfather, call me Pony Soprano.
Car faster, my drip better, my clothes fit better, my hoes better, my tattoos better, I'm stronger than you.
They are celebrities, but this film I think understood talent was more important than just getting a big name. If you want to see a lot of black American culture on full display, this movie did really good homework. Even the Vineland moniker of Roots Run Deep has some black power behind it. This is definitely the movie made for black furries, which is crazy to think that in this day and age, an animated movie about basketball would be something that can connect to a subset of black fandom, outside of maybe Space Jam. But thankfully the kids got an actual good animated basketball movie to grow up with, not to mention the animation. This could get chalked up on the board as another one of the low frame rate greats. The pure style and flair with the way the characters move, even down to the way they're designed and the use of their animalistic traits, more furry movies should play into their characters' animal side. There is complexity in everyone's outfits, their design, and the environment itself. There needs to be an art book for this movie yesterday. One complaint I understand with this film is that the story, as well as it's told, can move a bit fast. They do pack a lot of character into the scenes that you might feel like you missed an important detail, but that honestly just warrants a rewatch. And I'm just fine with that. GOAT is safe to say a goated film. The characters are very charming and leave great impressions. I absolutely needed to see these characters in another film together. It doesn't even really need to be basketball related. They're so fun and genuine that you could make them do any new thing and it still would work. They're so fun and genuine that you could almost make them your new favorite team. It's not setting any new records in the story department, but it's not trying to. It's a simple movie with a good uplifting message about following your dreams and not forgetting where you came from. But you know, done the right way. The black culture on display is something that should be witnessed with all the love and care put into it. The animation is top notch with adding style and substance to the film and bringing black culture to life. This casting is honestly really good. Everyone is giving a good performance, bringing out the best in these characters. It's a great film that perfectly nails true sportsmanship.